A rare albino Mustang Mare gives birth alone on a barren mountain ridge. Rescuers arrived just in time to see the most incredible wild horse FO. History, its eyes shone with intellect that sent shivers down their spines within minutes of birth. This miracle animal achieved what vets and horse specialists worldwide deem biologically significant. Impossible scientists are hurrying to explore this unique phenomena. Everything we know about equine development, what occurred next, surprise the rescue team, and possibly change our view of wild horses, forever witness and narrative so amazing. It will challenge all you know about these majestic animals. The first light of the search helicopter flew low above Mustang as dawn illuminated the rough Nevada highlands region for 14 days. The Wild Horse Rescue Alliance tracked unusual albino Mare, highly pregnant and separated from her band during recent roundups. Wildlife was in threat. Emma Reyes, a biologist, shouted over the rotor noise to point to a rocky protrusion. White flash on sandstone, the missing mayor alone, and vulnerable pilot Juan Martinez sadly nodded for landing. She doesn't look good. He banked the helicopter toward a small clearing. We need to move fast. Emma's mayor's condition met her expectations. 9 days late, the albino Mustang was in distress, her sides heaving with contractions. Most concerning was solitary position. Wild horses prefer safety in herds, especially during. Something drove this mare to separate herself. She chose this site intentionally. As they walked, Emma told veterinarian Dr. Mark Collins, "See how the pebbles. Natural enclosure, she's protecting herself." The mare's ruby crimson eyes observed their movements with wild horse tiredness, but did not escape another. Despite her snow-white coat being dirty and scratched from rough terrain, despite weariness, she maintained a regal demeanor that warranted the tracking team's nickname. Luna, the Moonar, is in labor, Mark said respectfully. Too far along for sedation or transfer. Need help here. Emma set up monitoring devices while keeping Wild Horse as far as feasible in case of problems. Births usually went smoothly, although Luna is estimated to be 12 years old, considering earlier studies and her unique albinism added danger. Variables the crew watched, ready to intervene only if necessary. Required. Luna's contractions increased as lunchtime approached. She paced the little area before kneeling and rolling to her side as nature took her course. The squad watched reverently. Silence as new life entered the world. Quickly, Mark muttered, "Something's different." Binoculars. Emma adjusted her optics for color, gasping at what emerged. The newborn was neither white like its albino mother nor any standard Mustang coloring. Its silvery blue coat seemed to reflect light. Unimaginable methods. I've never seen anything like it. Emma exhaled as Luna cleaned. Loving care. What occurred next would change everything the experienced team knew about equine development and wild horse behavior. FO opened his eyes to see deep blue irises. Was almost dazzling. The infant performed something physically impossible. The team glanced. Disbelief, checked their equipment to make sure they were recording what couldn't happen before. Their eyes, none of them, expected this unique birth on a secluded mountainside to attract their attention. Widespread attention and question fundamental scientific knowledge of humanity's oldest animal. Companions. The newborn is still wet and hardly amniotic fluid free. Bag struggled to arrange its tiny legs to stand instinctively. Even the healthiest fossa requires 30 to 60 minutes to attain this critical first goal. Vulnerable period, when predators are most dangerous. Normal development sequence, Mark discreetly remarked. Observation. First attempt to climb. Predicted. His clinical remarks cut unexpectedly as the little silver blue Fio exceeded all expectations in one fluid motion. Impossible for newborn equine physiology. FO ascended directly to standing. No faltering, no failures, no gradual strengthening from laying in its natal dust to standing on all fours. Emma murmured, "That's impossible." Camera grasped tightly in quivering hands. Muscle development prevents before she could finish her idea. The fold began its progress without the clumsiness of infants, but confidently walks to its mother. Luna accepted the team's nursing without astonishment at her foe's early progress. Exchanged confused glances, each recalling their extensive equine experience. Births without explanations can be stressful. Reaction marks stated unconvincingly rapid development due to mother's distress. After breastfeeding efficiently, FO turned FUB. Student facing human observers for the first time. Piercing, disturbing gaze went from person to person, those intense. Azure eyes showing awareness unimaginable for a minute-old animal. It's looking at us. Looking at us. One whispered, lowering his camera. Emma nodded, feeling. A cold, unrelated to mountain air recognition. Assessment. She stopped to find scientific phrases for what appeared more. Like intellect, the FO's next move removed any chance, or mistake had approached the rocky border. Following the invisible line the crew had meticulously maintained, and stopped at this unmarked barrier then. The most amazing part was its small head lowering in a hello gesture. Are we seeing this? One murmured. Mar checked his watch. Unbelief, 12 minutes since birth. Luna remained calm as her FO continued their remarkable encounter. She stood instead of worrying like a new mother. Beside her children, forming a united front. Nearly deliberate, the foe's coat dried with peculiar qualities. Silvery blue shine becomes almost iridescent in midday sun. A complicated universe appeared on its forehead, unlike a star or stripe. Pattern that changed slightly from different perspectives. We need to document everything, Emma replied. Her scientific mind regaining traction after the shock, multiple angle video nobody would believe. Things without evidence. The guy walked deliberately, as if realizing her remarks. Circuit around, its mother showing its remarkable development and colors from all perspectives. Showing self-awareness that should have been inconceivable. Mark gently raised his satellite phone, made the call that brought this mountain marvel worldwide. No one on the crew, but recognized that the FO's amazing entry into the world was just the start of a mystery. Challenged consciousness while Mark called headquarters. Emma created a decision that would be reviewed by all wildlife authorities nationwide. Slowly, she crossed the invisible barrier they maintained toward the mayor, and full of measured steps. Emma protocol, Mark warned, glancing up. Call protocol doesn't cover this, she said softly, making eye contact. All her 15 years of wild horse research instinct screamed. This approach should make Luna defensive. The mayor should position herself between the human and her child. Luna watched Emma calmly. Shorten the distance. The FO defied all prey instincts and approached her. The moment those unbelievable blue eyes met hers at close range surprised Emma. After 20 years of scientific training, intelligence demonstrated there, but also awareness that beyond animal awareness. Hello, little one, Emma said, defying science. She extended her palm down horse welcome motion. The FO looked at her hand for a moment that seemed frozen, then gently it raised its muzzle to contact her fingertips to acknowledge that. Wild Mustangs take weeks or months to establish. Ever contact lasted seconds, but Emma called it the most significant career moment, like touching another intelligence. Told stunned co-workers, not human, not typical equine, but something aware I've never felt. Mark recorded this incredible first contact, with his veterinary training combating the foe's physical development alone. Spatial awareness, muscle coordination, and social behavior. We need to test that, he said. Finally, non-invasive observational, but physiological data to understand what we're seeing. Emma nodded unwillingly. With the FO, extended monitoring requires clearance. This isn't a usual rescue anymore. The mayor returned to Luna's side, apparently comprehending their exchange. Nuzzled her child before focusing on the helicopter one was rescuing. Equipment, they're not terrified of the helicopter. Mark marveled. Wild Mustangs usually demonstrated severe stress reactivity to aircraft, conditioned by decades of helicopter roundups. They're not afraid of anything, Emma said. Look at their body language showed little stress. Both mothers. Foe's comfortable posture contradicted every wild design. Horse behavior with people. Luna kept her ears forward and gazed soft. FO seemed fascinated about human activities when the researchers set up a temporary observation post. Began examining its environment rather than randomly, like a baby, it studied rocks. Carefully examined the team's equipment and vegetation. Categorizing its environment, Emma saw it was mapping its mind. After returning to the natural environment, something even more astonishing happened. Using its hoof, decided to draw patterns in the ground. Emma and Mark looked shocked as the pattern emerged, a rough circle, radiating lines like a sun sign, primitive but undeniable. Deliberate marking, never documented in equins. Mark murmured, "Are we really seeing this?" Emma nodded slowly, scientific perspective changing as she viewed a newborn. For producing deliberate symbolic representation, we'll need more than a wildlife rescue squad. She concluded, whatever this thing is, it's something altogether different. By sunset, the special feeling had spread beyond the Wild Horse Rescue Alliance. Government research agencies and universities won satellite uplink broadcast, live feed that specialists worldwide were scrutinizing with growing surprise. Skeptical, they say the video was edited, one checked. Messages Cambridge wants multi-angle raw footage. National Geographic sends documentary crew. Emma scarcely noticed these. Her focus remains on the abnormalities before her. The FO, already tentatively called Nova in field notes, spent the afternoon exhibiting unimaginable skills. Each theory of equine development, Nova's coat continues to reveal unique qualities when dried. Completely, the silvery blue tints seem to change slightly depending on illumination and viewing angle, sometimes seeming virtually. More impressively, its forehead spiral pattern was resolved. Temperature readings are odd. Mark quietly reviewed thermal imaging data. Core body temperature is 1.7 degrees higher than normal. Echo and baseline, but all vitals stable. What confused the crew most was Nova continued cognitive demonstrations after producing the sun-like dirt pattern. He created increasingly complicated designs in the afternoon, including concentric circles, radiating patterns. "It's communicating," Emma said, finally saying what they'd been afraid to say. Luna was incredibly quiet throughout, showing none of the protective instincts of young mothers. Instead, she watched her phone nearly as if pride sometimes nickered gently when Nova produced complicated patterns as night approached. Crew prepared for continuous surveillance. Nova's next move pushed believability farther. Approached the little portable generator powering their equipment. The F circled it twice, then stood still. Nova paused near the humming machine before creating ground patterns. Design clearly includes generator configuration features. It repeats Mark's whispers without understanding. Just copying. Emma nodded, her scientific training attempting to combine. They saw we need a more methodical approach. Test sheet carefully grabbed a field tablet and opened a blank drawing application. White screen, she placed the device on a flat rock at their observation area's boundary and retreated few steps. Yards. Nova's response was swift and clear. The FO neared the luminous screen, examined it for some seconds before using its muzzle to touch the surface. Intentionally made a pattern like those it had drawn in dirt. My God, one breathed, filming. It uses technology instinctively. First attempt, the consequences were dizzying. A newborn FO showed not only rapid physical development, but also strange cognition, yet symbolic creation and technology interaction. Questioned animal intelligence as darkness descended. While digesting the day's exceptional observations, the team installed night vision monitoring over the mountain. No one uttered the thoughts already emerging that whatever had been created on this lonely mountain slope today extended, transcend scientific anomaly into something that could transform humanity. Understanding awareness they didn't realize when they settled up for the night. That Nova's demonstrations were preparatory. By daybreak, the silver blue F would challenge scientific knowledge of equine capabilities, but the limits between animal consciousness and something formerly reserved for that. Humankind. The mountain night shrouded the observation camp in darkness, except for equipment lights and the waxing moon. The team seemed uninterested in Emma's 4-hour watch rotations. Capable of sleeping with Nova's secrets, Mark's nighttime watch changed the FO's conduct into another unusual pattern. While Luna rested, Nova stood at the edge, head elevated to the star-filled sky for about 40 minutes. The F was a mobile, save for modest modifications to track celestial movements. It's after Orion's passing. Mark noted in recordings the distinct stargazing precise tracking. Emma eased him. Nova started making more complex ground patterns about 2 a.m. Daylight versions and properly aligned with cardinal directions. The patterns now included components that bore disturbing resemblance to celestial configurations. It's mapping stars. Emma talked into her recorder, describing the night sky by dawn nova. Has created 13 elaborate ground patterns. Final creation, as early light hit the mountains, was the most shocking. Basically circular with solar system-like interior elements. The crew found a trend in night footage that contradicted nova stargazing. Focused on specific celestial entities with exact astronomical time. Within their maximum visibility, times this supported observation, but also, we need astronomers once suggested transmitting the nights. Documentation, this is beyond animal biology, Emma nodded scientifically. Worldview trying to incorporate Nova's demonstration of cognition and special intelligence that combined observation and representation capacities never observed in non-human species at this level. Sophistication allowed alone in a day old from morning filled the mountain plateau. Nova purposefully approached Emma's position. Luna followed at a relaxed distance without protective behavior. Nova used the tablet Emma gave her the day before without urging. Recreating its soil patterns, the FO developed something new, simple but clear layout of the observation camp, including team members' equipment and setting up a situational map. Mark saw. His speech struggled to preserve scientific detachment with proper spatial correlations. Scaled proportions. Emma's hands trembled while recording this newest demonstration. Nova showed something deeper than cognitive implications, self-awareness, intellect, and consciousness in relation to environment and others. Most relevant definition, the satellite phone interrupted the team's focus. Observation. Dr. Ella Chun, Interspecies Communication Initiative Director, called. Dr. Chin's voice was heard in the film we reviewed. Tight with restrained eagerness, your foe's patterns resemble symbolic, primitive but different systems found in early human societies. Organizational ideas that encouraged deliberate communication. Mark making Emma inquired what you mean, even though the team had started forming their own. Disturbing conclusions. I recommended. Dr. Chun carefully replied that you've breakthrough animal cognitive research, not merely accelerated development or unique intelligence, but possibly spontaneous symbolic communication. As Emma processed these possibilities, Nova finished its latest tablet creation, a basic but clear sun image. Climbing over mountains portrayed with astonishing sophistication given hoof-on ground limits. Touchscreen. The crew glanced and waited with comprehension, seeing a biological oddity and possibly a turning point. Our notion of consciousness outside our species. Silver blue FO. Not only 2 days old, the squad heard helicopters coming. 2 planes appeared above the eastern ridge before midday, one with government wildlife management markings, the other a dark ship without markings. Company 1, check the satellite phone now. Scheduled arrivals on our logs. Emma scowled at Nova's reaction to the plane. Unlike wild horses, displayed high-stress responses to helicopter sounds. The FO just observed the approaching craft with seeming. Luna stayed calm with her children. The federal chopper. First release, 4 uniformed and 1 distinguished looking man in civilian clothes. The black chopper landed shortly later, its passengers still present. Engines running. Dr. Reyes, the civilian, approached Emma directly. Qualifications. Dr. Walter Kendrick, Special Scientific Advisor to the Interior Department. Emma shook his hand yesterday as we monitored your message. The mayor and FO are careful. We followed wildlife handling guidelines. Not protocols, but observation with minimum intervention, Kendrick said, staring at Nova. National interest in it. Nova showed extraordinary biological development as the official party reached the natural enclosure. Another unusual equine behavior. The colt advanced instead of retiring behind its mother. Remarkable, Kendrick muttered the reported cognition. Immediately evident. 1 uniformed official stepped forward. Dr. Reyes, we're securing the research perimeter. Your team's views are invaluable yet. Now that Emma understood the diplomatic situation, we're upping protocols. Takeover language. These are BLM wild horses. We have all rescue permits. This is no longer classified as a normal rescue. Kendrick smoothly injected the specimen. Emma snapped, not specimen, a wildlife protected live being. Statutes. Kendrick nodded patiently. The FO has traits that demand specialization. Research. We're building a secure field lab to continue controlled observations. Nova accomplished something that disrupted human plans throughout this tense meeting. Approached the tablet Emma left on the granite barrier and carefully formed a circle, having separate symbols that appeared to symbolize each people with a horse's unique grouping maps. Social ties, Mark muttered. Of our group dynamics, Kendrick glanced at the tablet, his trained professionalism faltering. Symbolic response to our arrival in real time. Nova wasn't simply showing exceptional intelligence or development, it was actively interacting with and assessing shifting human social dynamics prior. Emma witnesses the collective shock. Dr. Kendrick must collaborate on this research. Accessing Nova requires different scientific knowledge. Viewpoints before Kendrick could react. The black helicopter's action captivated everyone. A slim woman with silver hair emerged from the entrance. Her powerful appearance in basic outdoor attire implied significance. Evidence Dr. Catherine Marshall Kendrick identified her. Surprise Advanced Research Initiative Director Emma recognized the identified Dr. Marshall's awareness and interspecies research immediately. Over 30 years, communication has transformed several scientific domains. Her presence heightened this situation, took on new meaning as Dr. Marshall approached. Nova generated a new tablet image that appeared. It recognizes something by tying the new arrival immediately to the FO. About you, Emma pointed to the tablet Dr. Marshall studied. Before turning to Nova, she focused on the famous image. Scientist and Silver Blue F looked at each other in mutual respect. Dr. Marshall replied, "We've been waiting for this," her voice quiet but caring. Assembly, though we never anticipated it would arrive in this manner, her mysterious comet hovered in the mountain air. Nova deliberately approached her, making direct contact, suggested recognition. Not first encounter. Sunset painted the mountain in gold and purple. An unparalleled assembly had gathered. Surrounds Nova and Luna. The government team installed advanced monitoring equipment while preserving nature. Atmosphere of the rocky enclosure. Dr. Marshall convinced Kendrick. Forced transfer would obscure Nova's amazing. Dr. Marshall told the gathering study team that nature is emerging. Sophisticated intellect, but never shown the spontaneous creation of symbolic. Conscious non-human, Nova spent the afternoon interacting with newcomers' scientific instruments, EEG sensors, finding novel neuronal activity patterns, echoing specialized cameras, snapping foes' unique code, and communication interfaces that increase interaction options. Nova's exquisite creations were quite impressive. Symbols' simple patterns have become complex. System of representation that was human interpretable. Observers claiming the FO was purposefully altering its communication to bridge species gaps it's learning. Us while we study it. Emma watched Nova build a tablet artwork with elements from horse behavior and human technology, creating a real-time hybrid communication system. After dusk fell, Dr. Marshall approached Emma, who was recording the day's events. You identified it quickly. The senior scientist said, the extraordinary evolution and consciousness underlying it. Since you contacted us, Emma appeared confused. I followed regular procedure. The response to endangered species protocols was unknown. Marshall smiled. We've been observing your patterns because they trigger our algorithms. Waiting decades for this kind of phenomenon, what are you suggesting? Emma requested scientific caution due to Nova's unusual implications. What we suspected may happen to species' spontaneous consciousness leap, an intellect distinct from ours, but clever enough to communicate meaningfully. Boundary. Nova neared its smooth movements as they spoke. Elegance of a much older horse, the whole head developed rapidly at 2 days old.